Thank you for coming. I think you'll enjoy tonight. We have a very interesting speaker, whom I shall introduce in a moment. I see we have two new faces.
My name is Michael, and I just came along because see what happens here. I've been doing a fair bit in still photography and started to get into, or probably a couple of years ago, what the club I'm in calls AVs, which are really electronic slideshows, and I've just been wanting to push it a bit further. I just sort of wondered.
Hi everyone, my name is Abdul. I'm a film school student. Before I studied film, I studied journalism and I studied photography. Currently I'm studying and I'm also working as a content producer.
Leon Hook, thank you.
So I spend all my time in small dark rooms, so I'm not used to talking to other people. So if I'm a bit wooden, I'm sorry about that, but I made some notes on my phone, so keep me vaguely on the right track. So I'm an Avid editor. Avid is an American company that started in the mid-80s, and they make Avid Adrenaline and Avid Media Composer. Their main competitors are Premiere and Final Cut, which is Apple. Most of the large-scale television shows, particularly reality shows, use Avid, and I think they sent out a press release this year after the Oscars. I think most of the editing nominees at the Oscars were done on Avid, but what Avid does better than the others is networking. So you can have an entire building full of people working on one series of a television show without raising complete havoc as they all open up each other's work. So I largely do large-scale reality shows. I didn't mean to do that, it just sort of happened. The good thing about being a reality show editor is that you get to eat. There's actual work. I got a job, and this was sort of a lucky break, on the Great Australian Bake Off. So this is a British show called Great British Bake Off. It's a phenomenon in England. It's also a very strange show because in reality you're taught to make drama out of every single thing. So if someone drops an egg on the floor, you stop the music, horrified looks from all over the room. You cut to an interview. I can't believe that happened. I thought of my children back at home. Change the music again. I just realised there are more eggs in the fridge or something like that. They dash over. Someone falls over as they're doing it. Then triumphant music kicks in and they get another egg into the bowl. Great British Bake Off is the opposite of that. We're used to this sort of drama constantly. So if someone dropped an egg on the ground, the crews would have to be pulled back by the producers to say, stop it, we're not doing that, it's not that type of show. It's just about character and what's actually happening. There's a field producer who's behind the camera at the location. They wrote a log, sort of a script that gets sent up with the rushes, or probably just emailed. Then there's a series of producers. The executive producer runs the show. Then there's a bunch of senior producers. They control 1 week of the show each. Behind every camera, there'll be a camera on every contestant. Behind every camera is a field producer who writes the logs. So you've got the storyline of every single contestant or couple, if that's the case, for every day. Yeah. All up, there's 24 cameras on it, and they are filmed 24 hours a day.
Write down. The kind of words selected and what they are used for can quickly define stereotypes. An architect needs a solid foundation before creating a structure. So too can you show his personality by having him question things before setting ideas in stone. He wouldn't use vague words like other people did, like, oh, used a knife, he did this, did that, and just generalise and broaden. But make specific points to help him find his answers. Whereas the blue-collar worker, who just wants to work 9 to 5 without too much responsibility, doesn't question things so closely, and will use vague and general terms because he never needs to dissect or question every little detail. So that's this gentleman up here on the right-hand side. When he gets questions like, oh, I just think that he is, like he needs a motive, and I think that's enough. If you've got a motive, that's usually how things play out. So he's like very on top level, and that's enough for him, where being an architect, you do need to question just by nature. And for him to be in the same room with all these other people, they have to learn to use different games and different techniques to get their point across. As well as with the knife scene, when he puts the knife down, there's a moment there where no word is said. And sometimes if you keep talking and talking in films, when there's a moment where there's no words, that just exponentially becomes so much more significant of a moment. So yeah, this will help bring depth to the character, a bit on top of the initial stereotype. The difference between two educated men can be shown by how they express themselves about a specific topic. If this architect is a passionate man, he may use his body more or be more vocal, whereas the broker may try to appear stoic, immovable, and certain with his point of view by keeping a consistent tone. So you'll also see, which we saw in one of those scenes, where that angry guy, which for those that have seen it, has issues with his son, he'll just explode and get fiery, and the other guy with the glasses sitting next to him is like, it's all right, he's just lost his patience or whatever, and he's just like, he understands what's going on, so he's very chill.
Mami, desde que te conocí, no hago más que pensar en ti.